Felder, the scary thing is Ohio State and Alabama are done until they get called to go play wherever they're going to go play.
Yep.
No, so you say an extra data point can be added to the teams that are going to be playing these conference championships, but
Yeah.
those teams are also vulnerable. The Buckeyes in Alabama board up shop and wait, and
Yep.
really just they're going to pounce as soon as somebody else
Makes a mistake.
make a mistake. In
Yeah,
comes two national brands that TV follows, college football follows, the
Yeah,
national
I agree.
champion trophies have followed. This is the worst possible thing for TCU.
and they're two programs that have the benefit of the doubt too.
Correct.
On the national
And they
stage.
get all
Bingo.
benefit. They get all
Yep.
benefit. Coaching staffs, legacies, brand. And I'm not talking the last couple years. You're talking the last
Decade.
like really forever, decade.
15 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. And so that's what I'm like. I think TCU is the team in the most precarious position because at the end of the day, if you have to pick between USC and Ohio State because TCU loses in the Big 12 championship game, that's the part where that's what TCU is terrified of. Is TCU knows they won't pick us.
Right.
They're not going to pick us. They're going to pick them.
And
that's the part. That's the big thing. That's why today
can't
was so
relate
huge.
to that. Who can't relate to that, Felder? Hack.
Yeah.
Who can't relate to not walking in with a normal size strike zone in some situation?
No, first of all, Hack can't relate to that. This guy's been the man. This guy's been the man.
Hack been the man his whole life. But I'm just simply saying, there were times at Penn State, Hack took the field and Vegas was rolling with the other team. And there were times when he was a New York Jet, Vegas took the other team. Yes, he himself has been the man, but he's been on teams that have been under some shade. But I'm just simply saying.
Guys, I play football at UNC. I play football at UNC. We we were never the guys.
Yeah.
I think we're a year ahead of the Tar Heels. But this year, you're a TCU. Imagine being in that film.
But they've already had it happen to them.
They have.
Yeah.
Imagine being in that team room come tomorrow.
2014. Imagine being on the staff. Imagine being in the admin. Imagine being a fan.
Yeah.
In 2014, you saw yourself get leapfrogged.
Right.
So you have to be perfect.
And so far they have been.
Yes.
And they woke up and had a monster night. I think winning tonight by 50 plus points or whatever it wound up being allows them to exhale and look at each other and say, look, we got this. Rushing out onto the field and taking care of business against Baylor in kind of a first responder type of way to kick goes, this and that. And as time expires, you're like, God damn, still undefeated. Like it couldn't have been that celebratory. It almost felt like, okay, we dodged one. In Texas, we dodged one. And another game, we played well enough. Tonight, they can lean back, flex, and say, okay, we got this. We got one more, fellas. We got one more.
The interesting point, I'll hammer this point home as well. I know it's super cliche, but all of us who have been in this position and been in locker rooms and prepared for games know how hard this is. And it was one of the points I brought up last year about Georgia in the national championship game. It's really damn hard to beat a team twice in any sport, but particularly football in the same year. To go out and beat, they're going to have to go out and beat K-State, and it looks like it's going to be a healthy K-State this go around twice in the same year. That's a tough damn thing to do. So we'll see. And if they're able to do that, man, it's.
Well, let's touch on TCU. For those of you just rolling with us and didn't see the game tonight, TCU hosted Iowa State. Iowa State, a notorious knuckleballer, a notorious season spoiler. If you look back in their history in the last couple of years, that was not the case tonight. 62-14. It was all frogs all day. Strong effort from Max Duggan, 246 yards, 22 of 30. Our producer, Trevor Valise, says Vegas now has him a number 2 spot for the Heisman. At least he's right now going. And that Heisman deal, fellas, we can talk a whole show about that. It was only 4 weeks ago. It was Bryce Young, Hendon Hooker, and C.J. Stroud. I don't even know if we'll see any of those three in New York now, although I think Hooker deserves it. Bryce Young's probably been the most underrated big-time performer. Hard to say that about an Alabama player. And C.J. Stroud had his first mortal evening or mortal day tonight, and all three could be watching the Heisman like we'll all be watching the Heisman because a megawatt star down in Hollywood's been doing his thing quietly, and now he's getting bigger stages. And Max Duggan, 22 for 30 tonight, 246 yards, and the Horned Frogs, 62 points, 2 interceptions returned for touchdowns. The defense is starting to click up. These guys look vicious. It's still a question. Do we know if Kansas State won yet or not?
K-State won.
So they'll be playing Kansas State.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Hack, you've been saying this, I mean,
I know it's cliche forever. Shit,
but tell them.
It's hard. It's tough to do, man. It's tough to beat.
It's hard to beat a team twice
in the same year.
It is.
It's tough to do it.
It is.
And Felder, do you have any concerns about TCU handling the pressure, now looking over their shoulder, and you got Ohio State and Alabama looking right at you? Do you have any concerns about that?
I think today was an indicator of where both of those teams, or those three teams, I think today was an indicator of where those three teams stand. I think TCU, they're embracing that pressure. They know they have to be perfect, and they're going out to do I don't know if you guys did this in practice, but we used to do perfect plays.
Mm-hmm.
Where you have to, like, everything's got to go the right way, and you got to, and if you don't, it doesn't work, you got to do it again, and you 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 do it again. It's your script. It's the whole deal. You do perfect plays, excuse me. TCU, that's what they're doing. Alabama is in the middle. And then you talked about Ohio State. I think Ohio State thought they could just turn it on when they wanted to.
That's what they have been doing.
I thought they could turn it on when they wanted to, and then they couldn't.
Yep.
As you said, an equal opposite, right? They couldn't do it. They couldn't turn it on. Didn't work for them. And they wasted those red zone trips. They missed tackles that led to huge plays, bad gap fits for, what is it, Donovan Edwards to just scoot to the end zone. And so you can't do that. And so for me, I think TCU is they're dialed in.
Mm-hmm.
You know what TCU is? TCU is the kid in your class who knows they have to get an A, or their mom is going to beat their behind.
Yeah.
Now watch them get knocked out next week by Kansas State. We'll see how that holds up. I'm just kidding. For all the frogs, I'm just kidding.